And when Simon Peter saw this, he fell at the knees of Jesus and, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." And that's the way all of us react when we are in the realization of the power and the glory of God. Oh, I'm sinful. I'm not worthy of this. So astonishment at the catch of the fish had seized him all around him. James, John, sons of Zebedee, and who were partners with Simon. And at this point, Jesus is saying to them, "Do not be afraid. From now on, you'll be catching men." And this is what we've been talking about all so far on this show, how to approach people and extend to them love, respect, understanding, to slowly but surely reel them into the presence of love. And when you reel somebody into the presence of love, it may not be you. You're sowing the seed. But eventually, somewhere along the line, it is something that's going to grow, and it's something they're going to want more, and they're going to seek more, and they're going to wonder, "Ooh, what was it about this person? What do they have? I want some. I want some of that." And it's just like Mom and Dad's example of being so totally in love with Jesus, and it's so obvious all over their faces and their actions. I want it more, and that's how I got so deeply into a commitment relationship with God. So to go out and catch men, first of all, we're going to have to lower the net into the deep, which is very a simple, don't think in terms of lowering it into deep water, but doing something different than you've done before. Stepping out a little bit in your own comfortability, if I'm saying that right, comfort zone. Oh, no, we've already tried. I've tried and I ain't done nothing. And nothing, No, you do something different and approach in a different way, like we've been talking about all morning long. The bait would be what is common, what is going on around you, what is common about you, looks like you might have in common with that person. And this is the doors that you use to just start talking with that's not condemnation, that's kindness, respect, as you said, Zoe, and kindness so often. You reach out with those active, maybe it's an act of kindness. Somebody's dropped something, pick it up, open the door, smile. Oh, geez, there's so many little bitty ways that we can use to use words that are positive, that show a sign of appreciation. Thank you so much. Boy, and you really look nice today. I like that on you. But here, let's think about the people we look at and we're going, I don't want to talk to you. Like this was, I know I talked to you about this 2 shows ago, I think it was, where I was at a restaurant, Arby's restaurant, and first one woman sitting by herself, I talked to her. Her mother was in intensive care. That's why we got to talking. Then there was another man that followed right after I left her. Here comes a man that looked like the preacher I'd seen, but he wasn't. But he said, "Oh yeah, I do ministry." And you start talking about just things that are coming to your mind about what they remind you of, or something like that. And then there was the third lady who was had the tiredest look on her face, had tattoos all over her body, looked scrungy, and it turned out to be, when I said something to her later, I said, "Boy, why are you so tired? You look like you're really tired." And then she tells me, they've just driven a long way, and so I hope you get to feeling better. That's all I said. But it was positive. And it was saying, I see you as a person, and I accept you as a person that is tired and needs to have a word to maybe lift you up. This is how God works. So give me an example of somebody that you would think 2 or 3 times about talking to. Who did you see today?
Who did I see today?
Yeah, that you didn't, you just, I don't even want to look at you.
I don't know, because, moving to Los Angeles, when I first came into Los Angeles, I already accepted it as the city I want to live in. It's a city of weird people. So, you kind of take it as like, okay, you got to live with that some sense of tolerance for people that normally, you wouldn't even want them to be around your family. You still gotta, be able to tolerate them. But I mean, with the, I don't know if but there is a huge homeless population out here, and unfortunately, a lot of them, they don't get even enough attention. Like, I mean, and so I like conversing with people. I don't know. I can't really think of an instance this moment.
Okay, so basically anybody that you're around, you're not really repulsed by what they look like.
Right.
It would, one of my things that I would see, piercings, ears that got big holes in the lobes.
Yeah.
And piercings everywhere. Right. And it's not that I'm repulsed by that, but my first inclination is to say, honey, why ever do you want to mess up what the good Lord took so long hard to do? You're beautiful. Like, I have this precious, precious beloved, dear, 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 child. I taught her piano lessons. I watched her grow up, and she is now posting things on Facebook about wanting to get this. What tattoo do you think I ought to put on? When I first encountered and saying, honey, you're so beautiful, why are you wanting to do that? And she was talking about, she was doing her hair, cutting it short. Is this orange? Is this red? And then, she was really into the way she looks. Anytime that somebody's into the way they look, they're hurting inside.
Yeah.
They're insecure of knowing that I am loved. And I need reassurance from everybody out there that I am.
Right. Social approval.
That I am beautiful. Huh?
It's sort of like a social approval issues,
Right. How many people have you got on your Facebook? And mostly it's younger people, but I do have one woman that is 30s or 40s. Selfies.
Oh,
How
yeah.
do you like this
all the
look?
time, yeah.
A new look. What do you think of this look? And a new selfie. And I got so tickled. One was, she had a selfie on with a pretty nice looking black negligee, but her room was a mess.
Oh.
I said, that room said more about you than anything else. If you tried to attract somebody, girl, you better think twice. Do you see what I'm seeing there? But that's my background speaking.
I remember all the time back in middle school, I used to joke about, on Facebook and on MySpace, every time you would, and this was when, bathroom selfies were still kind of a thing. And so all the time you'd be commenting like, oh yeah, that toilet looks real sexy right there,
Yeah, right. There's some selfies that they don't realize when they got the mural in the background. Watch out what you're posting. Very, very careful.
I love the selfies with the photo bombs.
Go ahead. What are you saying?
I love seeing the selfies with the photo bomber. Like someone that just happened to pop their face in. When they see someone else take a picture. I love those pictures.
Okay. Yeah. Some of them are really, it's very, very, there's so many things that we're seeing nowadays, thanks to the media, that are eye-openers, to be sure. I'm going to do the ending of what Abbott Jerome said about learning to see reality as God sees it is not some external exercise like acquiring a new skill. It is a process of conversion in our own heart now. Mm-hmm. Becoming more and more God-centered and God-filled. We have to have within our own heart the belief that the who I am is special, wonderful, loving, precious child of God. I am who I am because the I am is within me. I'm going to say that again. I am who I am because the I am is within me. It is He who gives us the grace to love, to be kind, to be understanding, to think as Jesus would think, to be in the image of God. It is by His grace and His grace alone that we can do all that we do. And if we don't have, first and foremost, that love of ourself, we cannot begin to love another or understand another. I know you'll know. I know you know I'm right on that. And God's speaking.
I just also wanted to
Carl,
say there's no.
You were talking about how you're trying to think differently and talk differently to people you've been developing over the years of not being this person that says sarcastic things or hurtful things. And this is the process of conversion. This is a process of where you're thinking more and more out of love than you are out of your own inner hurts. Right?
Sure.
Okay. So we're amazed that he's continuing going with what he said. We are amazed by the stories of saints who were able to see the face of God in everyone, even their torturers.
Yes.
In this, they were exactly like Jesus. Thomas Merton made this point about saints. Saints are what they are, not because of their sanctity, making them admirable to others, but because the gift of sainthood makes it possible for them to admire someone else. It gives them the clarity of compassion, and they can find good in the most terrible criminals.
Yes.
It delivers them from the burden of judging others, condemning others. It teaches them to bring the good out of others by compassion, mercy, and pardon. And he ends it with this line: we see the world not as it is, but as we are.
Yeah.
Okay? We see the world not as it is, but as we are. Just awesome. And so that really gives you ground to really think about the fact of why you are not able to be this person with compassion and understanding and love in your heart. First, you have to have it toward yourself. You have to see yourself in a way that is good. I know, Zolene, you do, and I know you do, Carl, too, but at one point, none of us did we? We didn't see ourselves in a positive way.
And I think that's why I was so angry and bitter and wanting to hurt other people was, as I had less esteem for myself, and so I see that.
Think of something. I'm trying to think of. Let me see if I can think of, and y'all can be thinking of it too, of a time in your life where you saw yourself or saw something in your life as negative. Okay. We're leading into something that I have to talk about. Remember, I sent out a blog about God forbid when Jesus was saying to Peter and to the apostles, I have to go up to Jerusalem to be crucified, he said to die. And Peter's going, oh no, God forbid that should ever happen. And he's being told by Jesus in turn, you be behind me, Satan. Or Father said the other day that Satan meant something else besides the devil in Hebrew. But get thee behind me, negativity, or temptation. There you go, temptation. Get thee behind me, temptation. To think, I don't want this is not comfortable, what the heck, get this out of my life. There's two things that have been happening all summer long in my life. One was we are in the process of having to totally let go of a sister-in-law who's actively dying in Ohio right now. Remember, we had the story of her getting sick, and Charlie and them and us thinking, do we go up there? And God saying, no, don't go just yet. Wait. This was back about in June sometime. Well, she's actively dying now, and we will probably be going up there here shortly when we get the call. The other thing that's been happening in my life, and people would be saying, oh, God forbid, or why in the world would this be happening? Well, I've had so many things, with some of the job changes, the different situations in the new job that was, and working nights, and a lot of things that were just coming my way all summer long that were stressful and very uncomfortable for me and a struggle for me. Last week we talked about, I felt like I was dealing with the fact that there was an evil spirit trying to harass me and cause me trouble. Did I share with you that I cleansed my home after at one point